Hey, what's up, you guys? It is Shacey Bender, I'm Cheyenne.
And I'm Sierra, and welcome back to this week's video.
If you couldn't tell already, just based off of our little makeup stuff and her dress, we're going to be talking about Monster High. If you couldn't tell, obviously Dracula is my favorite character, so.
And Frankie is my favorite character.
Call me basic. First of all, we want to apologize because we were supposed to have 2 uploads for the month of October. This video was technically supposed to be a Halloween video, but it's already past Halloween when we're filming this. So it's a November video.
Didn't expect this to happen, but our laptop literally stopped working, it broke, and we couldn't make any videos for weeks, so it really sucked.
Yeah, so we have a new laptop now. The graphics are just chef's kiss.
Everything is back to normal, and we're gonna start making videos again.
So, I mean, like, Monster High is okay, like, because it's like, you know, technically, you know, you can watch it at Halloween, but, like, you can watch them any year round. That's just like saying you can only watch Goosebumps during Halloween or something.
Yeah.
Or you have to watch Why Do Ghouls Fall in Love during Valentine's Day. Like, yeah, it might be a cute add-on, but, like, it's not mandatory. It's not necessary. It's not required by the state. We wanted to rank the Monster High movies for quite some time now. We're finally going to do it. What made this video take so long was because we watched all the movies in October instead of the month before. Like, plan ahead.
Probably could have got it up before our laptop broke if we would have just watched the movies in September. Just really quickly before we get into the ranking, I just want to say that in this video we will only be ranking Gen 1 movies, so we will not be talking about any of the Gen 2 movies or the new live action movie. And because of that, since we're only talking about the Gen 1 movies and characters, we will be using she, her pronouns to talk about Frankie, since that is their pronouns in Gen 1.
We just wanted to get that out of the way because we didn't want anyone to think that we are, like, misusing pronouns.
Because I just feel like it makes sense to use she, her pronouns when talking about Gen 1 Frankie, because Gen 1 Frankie does identify as a cis woman. And on all of the new Gen 1 dolls that they've been putting out, they use she, her pronouns in the diaries. And plus, Monster High is a multiverse, so, like, the new Frankie is not really the same as the old Frankie.
Yeah, like, the Gen 3 is just totally new.
Yeah. And I also just wanted to address it because I didn't want people, like, thinking I was transphobic or something, because that's obviously, like, far from the truth. If you know us and know about our channel, we do identify as LGBTQ people. We identify with the queer community, and we do not want to make people feel uncomfortable or unwelcome or anything like that, because we are 100% supportive of trans people and non-binary people.
Yeah, and, like, I love non-binary Frankie. They're so cute. Like, I really like it.
And I really do think it is cool that Frankie is non-binary and goes by they, them pronouns in the new generation. But anyway, now that we have that out of the way, let's get into the rankings and everything.
We should have also mentioned that we're only doing the 3D animated movies. No 2D animated ones, just the 3D animated TV specials.
So, in last place, the worst movie in Monster High history ever is Monster High Great Scarrier Reef.
We rated this a 0 out of 10. This movie is just a big disappointment. So let's go over the plot of this movie. Let's look over at my notes for the plot. This movie is so awful, so I'm just gonna focus on the bare minimum of what you need to understand this movie. Laguna used to dance with a girl named Kala. Kala, her dance partner, embarrassed her during an old performance when they were kids, and ever since, Laguna has stage fright. Now in the present, Laguna's fear gets brought back when she gets embarrassed by Toralei during a dance recital that Toralei was putting on. People start making fun of Laguna about the incident at the recital, so Laguna decides to be mean back to Toralei and uninvite her to a party Toralei previously told Laguna to plan.
Laguna! We're glad you decided to show. I wasn't even invited. Laguna wouldn't do that, right? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. In invited Toralei, all right? Then I uninvited her.
Like, who even are these characters anymore?
Like, Laguna would never do that, but anyway.
Toralei shows up to the party enraged, and she and Laguna start fighting. A whirlpool appears in the school pool during the fight, and they literally get sucked in, turn into half-sea creatures, basically mermaids, and they end up in the sea.
I just don't understand why Laguna turned into a mermaid.
I don't
if
know.
She's already a fish.
Also, when I say they, I mean, like, the main ghouls of
Yeah.
the movie, not just, Laguna and Toralei. Throughout the rest of the movie, Laguna is learning to get over her stage fright, especially since she comes back into contact with Kala because now she's back in the sea, which brings her fear up again. So she's just working through that. We have categories. We have, like, what we liked about it, random stuff in the movie, and then our, rating and feelings about it. But a lot of the what we liked about it section for this movie just is all negative and things we didn't like about it.
Yeah. I wish there was a what we didn't like about it section, because that's all we needed for this movie. Because this movie sucked, and we were really pissed off after we watched it, and we literally bought it, and now we have it forever, and I will probably never watch it again unless I want to get mad.
Now I understand why this is the probably most hated Monster High film. I didn't like this movie when I was a kid, but, now, as I got older, I was like, maybe it's different than I thought, and I might have different feelings than what I did when I was younger, and no, it's still bad, and it honestly is really sad that it is a part of the old Monster High movies, a part of that series of movies.
The movie already, started off weird, and then some of the characters were just not acting like themselves the whole entire movie. Frankie, for some reason, was having, these little remarks about Toralei from the very beginning in the movie, and it's like, Frankie would literally never do that. Frankie is super nice, and she would just never do something like that, even if she did have beef with someone.
Who died and made Toralei boss?
All the main girls of Monster High, even though they had beef with Toralei, they were never outright mean to her. Like, they would defend themselves, but they would never go out of their way to be mean to Toralei.
And not to nitpick, but Laguna did have a different voice actor in this movie, and I feel like it ruined the film, honestly.
I looked at IMDb, and a lot of people said that they didn't like the person's voice acting, or that it was bad.
It was kind of bad. No offense to the voice actor or anything,
it wasn't the role
the
for
role
them.
was not meant for them, I feel like. They should have gotten somebody else. It just didn't seem right.
The movie about Laguna doesn't have the original Laguna voice actor.
Yeah. And also, randomly, when she was speaking, her Australian accent would fade in and out, and I thought it was weird. And also, since when can Laguna dance? Since when is she a dancer? That really bothered me. And this movie just doesn't feel like a Monster High movie at all. It has a Barbie plot line, in my opinion.
And Barbie would have done it better anyway.
Yeah, obviously. I'm sure there is a Barbie movie like that, because I have seen Barbie movies, but I haven't seen every single one. And I love Barbie movies, and they would have done a better job with this kind of plot. It's extremely awkward, this movie, because there's barely any music or sound effects when the characters are talking sometimes. There will be periods of time where there will be no sound effects, no music in the background, and it sounds just dead, and it's so weird. I hate it so much.
It's also really odd in comparison to the other Monster High movies, because there's constant music and sound effects. It's a big time rush episode, any Scott Bellow show, really.
It's an episode of Ned's Declassified.
There's so many sound effects in Monster High movies, because it's more so, almost like a TV special type thing.
Yeah. It's you could tell that Monster High was on the verge of the Gen 2 reboot just based off of this movie. And honestly, Gen 2 movies were better than this movie, because I did watch them when I was younger. We gave up on this movie as soon as we started watching it.
It just
literally.
immediately fell off. I didn't even want to keep watching it, because it's what is there to watch for? The characters aren't acting like themselves. The characters aren't even the characters, and this movie is just really annoying.
Finally, the one last thing I want to talk about before we stop talking about this movie is that Throughout the film, they randomly had Claudine do some narration for literally no reason when there didn't need to be at all. And it also doesn't make sense for Claudine to be the narrator.
And her narration didn't add anything. It almost seemed like they were trying to do a tell not show thing, but at the same time what they were telling had nothing to do with anything.
Yeah.
So like we said, the rating for this movie is a 0 out of 10. It might seem harsh, but this film is actually repulsive.
It made me want to smash up my TV with a baseball bat. I will probably never watch this movie again.
The dolls that came from this were much better than this abomination of a movie. So the last thing I just want to say is like how I would fix this movie just because it was that bad. I feel like I need to say how to make it better. This should have been about Laguna like messing up and embarrassing herself at maybe like a swim meet or something, because that's something she's passionate about and that has been built up throughout literally all the movies. Afterwards, she might feel a bit discouraged, so she goes back to the Great Scarrier Reef, gets in touch with her roots and her family again to just find herself and remind herself why she fell in love with, you know, her home, like basically in swimming and everything in the first place. Coming in at number 10 on the ranking, we have Monster High Escape from Skull Shores. But this was surprisingly good, because I remember we didn't really care for this movie too much as kids, but it's actually really a nice movie.
All the movies throughout, like, beyond what's last place, all got at least a 7 out of 10, because all of the other Monster High movies are pretty good. So, it's spring break at Monster High, and Laguna plans to visit her family at the Great Scarrier Reef with the Ghouls and her boyfriend Gil. Laguna inviting Gil on the trip causes a rift in their relationship since Laguna's parents are saltwater fish and not freshwaters like him, and there's been a long-lasting feud between the saltwater and freshwater sea monsters. While everyone is on the ship that Laguna's parents sent out to her to travel to the Great Scarrier Reef, like, are they rich? Like, what is going on? A kraken literally sinks the boat, leaving the group to resort to using a small raft to continue their journey to Laguna's home. While this is happening, a man named Bartleby Farnham, a showman, is having some trouble of his own because he doesn't have anything new to show to people to make money off of. He hears the monsters on their raft near his boat and saves them and invites them onto his ship and promises to take them to the Great Scarrier Reef. But in reality, he plans on using the monsters for one of his freak show attractions. Because literally, what is wrong with him?
Yeah, and also I guess we should mention that Bartleby Farnham is a human.
Yeah, he is, so he thinks the monsters are freaks.
I mean, and obviously this is supposed to be kind of a Monster High version of P.T. Barnum, a disgusting man.
But after realizing that Frankie looks like an explorer that had a close relationship with a creature that he wanted to capture, he plans to use Frankie as bait to capture the creature, aka Andy, at the Skull Shores Island. The Ghouls have to find a way to escape from the island and save Andy from Farnham.
So, you'll understand a bit later on in the video, but at least Kipling in this movie is better than Igor from Frights Camera Action. I'm disgusted with Igor. I'll talk about him later, he just creeps me out. Kipling is actually so precious in this movie.
Yeah. Frankie's plot is pretty interesting when considering the Monster High lore and the theories, because everyone thinks that this explorer is the body that was used to create Frankie, which is pretty cool. Cleo not getting treated like to her standards is pretty funny in this movie and in general in any Monster High film. And we ended up liking the Tikis a lot. They were so cute. I used to hate them when I was a kid though because they creeped me out and I don't know why. I was very afraid of them.
Kind of reminds me of Spooky Island for some reason. I guess it's because it's an island on a beach type setting. So
kind of ship Frankie and Andy. They were kind of nice in the movie.
I don't see them being in a long-term relationship though. Like they'd be cute, but just kind of a situationship.
And Laguna and Gil were a highlight. Although they did have some relationship issues, they managed to be relationship goals, if you will. They, obviously had their issues because they are different kinds of sea monsters, but, they end up working it out by the end of the movie, and they're really cute together.
Like I said earlier about the whole P.T. Barnum thing, in my notes I said not a P.T. Barnum wannabe, which makes it seem almost like he's trying to be P.T. Barnum and P.T. Barnum is better, which is not what I'm saying. Like, ew. I literally hate P.T. Barnum. He is the most, like, disgusting man. Like, I swear. I literally hate him so much. It just leaves me so unsettled because of how disgusting P.T. Barnum was. Like, whenever Bartleby Farnham came on the screen, I just wanted to, like, throw up because I kept thinking about the real-life guy.
Yeah.
I hate the circus. I hate the freaking circus. The circus has always grossed me out, like, you know, forcing animals to do things, and then, like, plus just...
freak shows.
Yeah, that's disgusting. F The Greatest Showman, except Zac Efron and Zendaya, like, how do we rewrite the stars?
And also, can I just say how much I hate that in The Greatest Showman, they glorify P.T. Barnum acting like he's this great person. It makes me so mad.
When he's literally capitalizing off of people.
Yeah.
Like, that are different.
Or their deformities.
Yeah. But at least Monster High made him a villain in this movie.
And also, this movie reminds me of the Even Stevens movie, if you guys have seen that before. So, we rated this a 7 out of 10. We don't really care for, like, Lost or Stranded at Sea or, like, Stranded on an Island type of movie unless it's the Alvin and the Chipmunks movie.
Or Spooky Island, you know,
Spooky
like,
Island,
unless it's Scooby-Doo.
Or, like, jungle movies. This had jungle vibes, this movie, as well. I just don't really vibe with it.
It kind of makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's kind of scary to me. But honestly, this movie's pretty decent. Definitely not, like, my favorite Monster High movie. But I'm not a hater anymore, like how I used to be. I used to think this was the worst Monster High movie because it creeped me out a lot. Honestly, though, Bartleby Farnham kind of killed it for me because he's based off of a person in real life, and then it makes me sick to my stomach because then I think of what happened in real life.
And his gross ideology. But this overall did kind of seem like more like a Barbie movie
Once
to me.
again, yeah.
But it was okay in this case.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like
It's a good
Barbie could do it, and Monster High could do it too.
Okay, so coming in at number 9 is Monster High Frights camera action.
So, in this movie, Lord Stoker, the leader of the vampires, so this is a Draculaura movie, obviously, if it's about vampires, but Lord Stoker, the leader of the vampires, is in charge of finding the new vampire queen, but the true queen and the vampire's heart has been missing for hundreds of years, and the royal court of vampire dignitaries is tired of waiting for him to find the queen and the heart. Well, actually, I don't think that they know that the heart is missing.
Yeah, he lied to them and said that he still had it.
Right. So to continue his rule over the vampires, he knows he has to find a fake queen, and he chooses Draculaura because he remembers how weak and insecure she was, which is just sad. Because of this, it would make her an easy target and easy to control
And manipulate.
Draculaura is told that she is the new vampire queen by Lord Stoker, and Draculaura believes it since he gave her the vampire heart, and it glowed in her presence. What she didn't know is that the heart was a fake made by Lord Stoker. She later finds out it is a fake when, in Lord Stoker's office, she touched the heart and it didn't glow because Lord Stoker forgot to replace the batteries in the fake heart, because the batteries made it glow. When Draculaura finds out she isn't the queen, she is determined to find the true vampire heart and let it lead her to the true vampire queen and just try to make things right for all vampires.
The art on the opening credits were amazing. It was so good. It was very nice, so beautiful, pretty amazing. Loved it. And I love that there are many Twilight references in this movie with Ed Weird and I don't know what the other guy's name is.
Yeah, he's just not as memorable because it didn't remind me of Twilight.
Yeah, because it wasn't a name like similar to Jacob or anything.
Because it was two vampires instead of a vampire and a werewolf.
Yeah. The fact that they keep tricking Headmistress Bloodgood in every single one of these movies into letting them leave the school for educational purposes when they're really like going on a vacation to some location, like
having a hot girl summer.
Yeah, like what's going on? They really make her seem stupid. Like what is going on? Draculaura is kind of a whiny baby sometimes in this movie, kind of funny.
Okay, when Draculaura says goodbye to Claude because she has to leave, it's kind of funny, no offense. Like, I'm sorry, like, I know it's supposed to be emotional, but it's like, she treats him like a dog.
Yeah.
And, like, so it's just weird.
Yeah, she's like, Fetch, goodbye.
It's kind of hard to be sad.
Draculaura finally got her powers. I'm glad that this was finally discussed in a movie because they really didn't talk about it that much. Draculaura, like, randomly would reference the fact that she didn't have all of her powers, but we wouldn't really know much about it.
Or, like, what those powers would entail.
Yeah. Also, in the beginning of the movie, when they are watching, like, the fake Monster High Twilight movie, Draculaura ruins the whole movie for everyone in the theater because she keeps talking over it and saying about how it's not accurate to real vampire royalty.
Like, and it is so funny. Like, everyone's just, like, so mad. Like, for some reason, it literally reminded me of the Drake and Josh episode where they ruined Megan's day at the movies. Like, I don't know why, but,
Not
like...
that kid. Oh, I can't. Ew. And then he took their clock and his pants and... But anyway.
Why is Igor so creepy and annoying? Igor's voice just annoys the hell out of me. But the thing is that that's how you know it's done well. Because he's just supposed to be annoying and naggy and, like, trying to serve Lord Stoker. So, like, honestly, good voice acting.
Yeah, 100%.
But, like, Igor's character design, I mean, like, his face. Like, he has no chin or neck.
He just looks a little creepy because of that.
Like, the thing is, he looks kind of, like, sweaty all the time.
Yeah.
He looks like a little grease ball.
And also, his voice reminds me of the mom in That's So Raven in the Halloween episode where Raven and Chelsea turn into cows. Because, you know, she's like, yes, master. Like, and that's what Igor says this whole entire movie, and I can't not think of her when I think of this movie.
There's a lot of references we're finding in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, the Wizards of Waverly Place heart. the necklace, like, you know, that Mason gives to Alex, like, kind of reminded us of the vampire heart.
Yeah, it's like, it glows because she loves him, but instead of, in this movie, it's like, it glows if it's the vampire queen. Everyone always says how this movie doesn't make sense because Elizabeth appears on camera. Obviously, she's a vampire, and so they're not supposed to appear on video and camera. But in other movies and webisodes, vampires were able to appear in photos and on video. And they have appeared on camera before. The only thing that I know of that they couldn't be seen in is in mirrors. They wouldn't be able to be seen. So, honestly, I feel like everyone else is wrong and incorrect by saying that this movie doesn't make any sense. Unless they specifically said at some point in the Monster High lore that vampires were not able to be seen in video or camera and they screwed up multiple times. But in Scaris, Draculaura is sending Claude all these photos of her in Scaris. So, like, you know, that's just evidence that vampires can be seen on camera, just not in mirror reflections.
Yeah, because what I was thinking is, like, you know, maybe in the Monster High universe, vampires just don't follow, like, the general, like, stereotypical vampire roles.
Yeah, I mean, Draculaura can be in the sun, too. She just has to wear high SPF.
So, this movie gets a 7 out of 10, just like Skull Shores. They're both pretty on par with each other. This movie is entertaining, but just not as entertaining as the ones that are higher up on the list. The subplot in this movie isn't too interesting. It's just teenage girls fighting over Edward and Jacob from Twilight, but in the Monster High universe. And I just feel like it goes on for too long because although it's funny, it should not be the only whole subplot of this movie, because it is the only one. And honestly, I feel like there's a lot of running around in this movie, and although I enjoyed it, the ending of the movie was much better than the rest of it.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, so coming in at number 8, we have Monster High Ghouls Rule. As Halloween approaches, the age-old conflict between normies, aka humans, and monsters resurfaces. The students were told that Halloween was a dangerous holiday for monsters, and it shouldn't be celebrated to avoid any conflict between them and the normies. Frankie was upset by this because this was her first Halloween ever, and she was disappointed to hear that the holiday wasn't what she thought it would be. Out of disbelief, Frankie wants to try to find the truth. Frankie, along with the other ghouls, discover the original meaning of the holiday by finding the Hall of Halloween in the catacombs. And by the way, the Hall of Halloween, if you haven't seen this movie before, is kind of like a museum that is ran by an animatronic skeleton. That basically, the skeleton just goes through the history of Halloween. They learn that normies used to celebrate Halloween to show their love for monsters and celebrate it with them. This leads to the ghouls trying to patch up the fractured relationship between normies and monsters, while the rest of the school tries to get revenge on the normie school for pranking Monster High.
Now, there is a lot we liked about this movie because it's a very nostalgic one to us. In fact, I think that this was probably our favorite movie when we were kids.
Yeah, for sure.
So we're gonna have to condense what we said.
Yeah.
But the opening is pure gold. It is literally so funny how no one pays attention to Frankie. Like, people actually make fun of her for that a lot because, like, she's like, guys, are you like, watching this? And it's like, obviously not.
Cool. Guys, are you watching this?
Like, no one is paying attention.
Like, them watching an old, like, public service announcement or, like, informational video to warn them about Halloween is just, like, the funniest thing ever.
This is a really good movie to watch around Halloween, and it was the first one that we watched because we wanted to get into the Halloween spirit. The spooky vibes are there, and obviously the movie is about Halloween, so I try to watch it every single year in October.
This is probably the funniest Monster High movie of all time. I remember literally laughing my ass off, like, every couple seconds. And again, there's sound effects too, because it's always like literally so constant, like something happens and they have like a weird sound effect in the background.
Love the Abby and Heath content. This is really the movie where we get to see their relationship develop. Heath is just so funny in this movie. What a comedian, what a guy. The party scene is too good. Like, the horrible music and Chad, like, dancing that weird choreography that comes back later in the movie. Like, it's just so good. It's so bad, though. Why does everyone like Claire so much? I mean, I like Claire as a character, but I think she's a little overrated.
I think it's just because she's the goth girl.
Yeah,
like,
probably.
People probably resonate with her a bit too much.
Also, there's a lot of sexism in this movie.
Because it's like, obviously, I don't like sexism. We all don't like sexism here on this channel. But if you can't beat them, laugh at them. It's like, make fun of straight men culture.
The Claudine dating side plot is a little weird. Like, why did that even have to happen? I don't know. It's okay. Like, I enjoy it, but it's also kind of random. And everyone in this movie is bullying Jackson. It makes me sad. I love him. I am Frankie, so I'm in love with him.
I love his voice actor too.
Yeah, I know.
So good.
And everyone prefers his monster form, and it's just depressing to me. Like, I love you, like, please. Like, literally, there is so much police propaganda. Like, literally stop. And also, like, the police effing suck in this movie, and they're extremely unattractive and ugly. And so, like, they don't even need to be doing that much.
And
like,
there's bad twin representation too. Like, they're ugly, and that's inaccurate to real life.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, look at us.
Ending dance scene is just too much.
Yeah, like with the bad choreography coming back again. And then the jail scene as well.
It's so good.
No jail can hold high! Let me hear you say ho, say ho.
Hey, knock it off in here.
So, the rating for this movie is an 8 out of 10. Super nostalgic. It's overall a really, really fun watch. But sometimes it's a bit overwhelming, because there's just a lot going on. Like I said, I was laughing so hard, like, every couple seconds. But sometimes it'll just be a bit too much. Like,
yeah,
you know,
it's just one thing after another.
Yeah.
Feels like.
Which is why, although it's, like, super good, it's just not as high as some of the other movies on this list. Like, it is awesome. That's why it's an 8 out of 10. But the other ones, pretty much everything above this is like 9s and even 10s.
Yeah.
So it's pretty hard to, you know, put this higher up on the list because a lot of these movies are just rated so high, including this one. So it's not that any of these movies are bad for being lower on the list. There's just a lot of good content.
Yeah, like, everything was rated really high except for Great Scarrier Reef.
Time for the movie that is at spot number 7 out of 11. 7-11. We have Monster High, Boo York, Boo York. I wanted Spectra to be here with us,
You
for
can't
this
even
part.
see her face.
It just gets worse as we get closer to the ring light. Oh, there
Oh,
you
there
go.
we go.
There we go. The camera wasn't focusing. Now we're super dark. We wanted her to be here with us because I forgot to mention her. She was literally here the whole time for, like, good luck, and I forgot to say anything. It's like, let Spectra bring the vibe. So, Boo York. Get ready for a full-length Monster High musical. Famous pop star Catty Noir struggles to write new songs because she ran out of ideas and is experiencing some major writer's block. She wants to write a love song, but she doesn't know how to write it because she has never been in love before. Cleo's dad wants to take his daughters on a trip to Boo York for the Crystal Comet and to meet the Ptolemy family. Cleo's dad tells her that she can invite one of her friends to come with her, but she ends up inviting her boyfriend Deuce, who her dad hates, Frankie, Draculaura, Claudine, Operetta, and Catty Noir to come with her.
That's so Cleo to overdo it, you know?
She's a people pleaser. Catty wants to use this opportunity to find her passion for music again and hopefully write her love song. While this is happening, Ghoulia discovers that a crystal comet is literally going to hit Earth and has to find a way to stop it and protect her friends. Because the comet is gonna hit Boo York.
No, like, how convenient is that? It's going straight for the place that they are at.
Up is like a star tonight. Should we sing Monster High songs for a video?
If we won't get copyrighted. I love how anytime a character sings in this movie, it doesn't sound like the character's normal speaking voice whatsoever.
We're just too different.
Look at you, look at me.
It's a funny plus, like, no shade at all, like, love this movie, but they reuse the same singing voice, at least for, like, the girls, for multiple characters.
I feel like they just wanted the songs to be cohesive, like, and flow together, so it's like, why not just have the same woman sing it? Sing all of them.
Because it's the same person or they just sound extremely similar, but I'm
'Cause,
pretty
like,
sure it's the same singer.
Like, if not, it's like one or two people that alternate.
Yeah.
Because it's like that way for the guys, too. All the songs are literally so good in this movie. They gave me goosebumps. First musical number, the song called Search Inside, was just hiding in the back of my brain for so long. And I thought that it was so good that for, like, the longest time, I thought it was a song that was just on the radio, like, from a long time ago. But it's just from a Monster High movie.
Despite all of the drama in this movie with Deuce and Cleo, you know, it can't be over, like, you know, they still managed to be, like, the best Monster High couple of all time. They're just such a power couple in this movie. It's great. The fashion is absolutely lovely in this film. And I love the Boo York dolls. It's literally one of my favorite doll lines. Ghoulia and Abby are hilarious together in this movie. Effin' Empire.
Take over everything. Then the fact that she goes, I'm a goddess, and her dad goes, don't be modest.
But yeah, Empire, that scene is hilarious, especially with the choreography.
I know, it's like, they definitely don't think highly about themselves, right?
I stan Catty and Pharaoh, wonderful ship. And also this movie shows us a side of Cleo that we don't normally see, you know? Honestly, I feel like she's not actually self-absorbed. She's just insecure, and so that leads into her being a little bit of a people pleaser to make other people's happy and like her. And then finally, the last thing that I really want to say about this movie is that the alien stuff is honestly kind of random. It doesn't make any sense. Like, why is there a comet? Like, why is this all happening? Like, I don't know. But, I mean, I do enjoy Astronova. She's a really cool doll, and she had a really cool set, and I'm so glad that I have it. And that dun 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 makes me feel sick and makes me feel like my life is over. We gave this movie an 8.5 out of 10. A lot of people don't like this movie because it's a musical, but it's like, the songs slap. And we love musicals, so we love when Monster High comes out with music. And the songs are just extremely iconic. This movie just managed to become extremely iconic to our lives over the years. It's also nice to see a change of scenery. I like the city vibes in this film. I just love the dolls. They're great. The Draculaura Boo York doll is one of my favorite Draculaura dolls that I own. At number 6, we have Monster High Scaris, City of Frights. Claudine Wolf gets invited to Scaris by a famous fashion designer, Madame Ghostier, for a chance to become her apprentice. Claudine and the rest of the ghouls arrive in Scaris, and Claudine competes against other fashion designers, Scalita and Jennifer, for the apprentice role. While this is happening, Frankie helps Rochelle find her long-lost lover, Garrett. and discover Madame Ghostier's big secret.
Honestly, this movie is pretty effed up. There's like a lot of kind of disturbing things going on in it for it being a children's movie or a Monster High movie, like, but we'll talk about that later. Why is Party Like a Monster such a bop? We keep like looking it up to like listen to it. We kept doing that like literally ever since we watched the movie. Like,
yeah,
oh my
it was
god.
in the DVD intro. Because you know, like when you like play a DVD, because we have all of these on DVD. Well, not all of them, but we have most of them on DVD. The DVD pile is right in front of us.
See, we have like a ton here,
Yeah.
and you know, we really want to watch them on DVD for the most part, so we get like the full experience of like our childhood. It's a way different experience if you watch it on DVD rather than just buying it, because you get to watch all the ads beforehand and like
you get
everything.
to see the Barbie ads and everything.
So, yeah.
It's wonderful. Party Like a Monster is a bop. It makes me want to cry. We're all just ghouls at the end of the day, howling at the moon. Like, it's so good. Like, what is going on? How is it so good? And then we also get the OG intro that was in some of, like, the older movies where, like, they literally have, like, the Monster High theme song. It's great. We love a Monster High men's fashion cameo for once because they never show or talk about the fashion for the Mansters. It's nice to see. Love Skeleta and Jennifer. I love those dolls, and I love their characters in the Monster High universe.
The best part about this movie has to be, by far, Toralei. Like, literally, Toralei is so hilarious. She keeps ruining the trip. She wants to go shopping, but then by the time the other girls go shopping, like, she wasn't invited. Like, that's just her luck, you know?
The Rochelle drama is wild. Literally, her boyfriend is kidnapped and has been locked in Madame Ghostier's little dungeon jail cell
And
for
forced to
years.
work.
Yeah. Also, we love to see a movie about Claudine. Also love like seeing more about her fashion sense, and she has some character development and becomes more confident about herself, which is great.
Who doesn't love a movie about Claudine? Claudine is like one of the best characters in Monster High. Abby is literally too much in this movie, and so is Heath. They are just everything. You know what? Screw it. They are actually the best part of this movie. Sorry, Toralei. Abby and Heath are just bringing it. They're doing too much. They're being the stars of the show without even trying. Like, they are so funny, and they are the best duo.
I genuinely cannot believe Claudine took Headmistress Bloodgood's head off.
In this movie. She literally took the head and was carrying it. It's like, what? Frankie almost makes a plane crash while they're all on it. Because like she electrocuted something, I don't know. Literally almost shorts all the circuits, and it literally almost crashes. And everyone's just like, ah! It's so funny.
Also, the fact that Deuce and Claude literally go to Scaris because they're insecure and feel like there's gonna be a bunch of hot guys there that are going to make their girlfriends cheat.
Like, toxic, but also everything.
Yeah, I kind of love that attitude. Like, come chase me, come find me wherever I'm at.
It's just funny to see, especially like men in the Monster High universe, like, not like, you know, super like confident. Like, there's another side to them.
Yeah, like, so jealous, so insecure. Stan!
Multiple kidnappings occur in this movie. Like I said, this movie is kind of effed up. Like, what is even going on? I mean, there's kidnappings in, like, Barbie movies, too.
Yeah.
But, like, not like this. Not
Yeah.
like this. And it's all just so Madame Gautier can have the best designs. Also, random little side note, there's, like, a terrifying animal stampede on their way home from the trip because Claudine's book has, like, an actual personality. Like, it literally walks around and does what it wants.
It's like the book from Hocus Pocus.
Yeah.
Basically.
So they were like, you know, trying to get it back, and like there's a literal animal stampede. That is my nightmare, and I hate Jumanji. But no, like, what even is that? Ew.
It rated it an 8.8 out of 10, and we really don't have much to say about it. It's just a good movie.
We're finally into the top 5. This is getting really exciting. Time for, like, basically my favorite movies of all time. Are you ready for some more Monster High sexism? Because it literally happens at least once in every movie? Well, here's a whole sexism movie for you. Like, let's go. Like, so funny, right? The annual Skulltimate Roller Maze Tournament, Monster High's version of roller derby, basically, is back around. during the school year. They have to compete with their school's team against other schools, with their biggest rivals being the Granite City High school's team. Granite City High beat Monster High and won their school crest, which tears down the school spirit of Monster High. The Mancers on the Monster High team got severely injured from their defeat, and therefore do not want to compete in the tournament anymore. The main Ghouls want to fight for their school and take the boys' places on the team, but sexism ensues.
Of course it does.
Because the boys believe that the Skulltimate Roller Maze tournament is and should only be for boys. Not really Deuce though. Deuce has always been a king. The Ghouls train hard despite the sexism, and in the end defeat Granite City High and win back the crest from Monster High. On to what we liked about the movie. Operetta is the vibe. She is me. Operetta has the same mindset that I do in regards to school and school activities. She's like, I might be awesome and I might be an asset, but like, I'm not gonna join to help the school. I just don't like getting involved in school activities.
Also, they chose a really good sport to make the movie about. I mean, I am kind of a fan of roller derby. I mean, I don't like follow it or anything, but I like the sport. It's probably the only sport I like. Probably because mostly women play, mostly women participate in it. And also, I did have a roller derby phase, if that makes any sense, after I read this book about roller derby. But besides the point, honestly, where would Monster High even be without Rebecca? And the fact that she might not even be in G3? Heartbreaking.
I know, and I really liked the way that she was brought about in this movie. They're just like, she's falling apart, guys.
And we love how the message of this movie is to beat a boy. You don't have to be like a boy. You just have to be a girl.
That's automatically better.
Oh my god.
I'm kidding. Oh my gosh, I'm kidding. I'm not sexist. This movie is literally about sexism. I'm not gonna be sexist back.
Rochelle officially joins Monster High in this movie, which I absolutely love. Rochelle is one of my favorite characters. And this movie is the reason why I have any self-esteem at all, besides Big Time Rush. This movie made me feel better about myself when I was a kid.
It was a rush to watch. Like, now
Yeah.
being older, it's just very, like, it really, like, resonates with me, and I'm sure it does to pretty much any woman or
It's
girl, whatever you want to say.
Yeah, this is just a good girl power movie. This movie walked so Little Women 2017 could run. Just kidding.
That's like really a far reach.
Yeah, I know. I love Little Women. I think it's my favorite movie of all time. But anyway, that's besides the point. Also, there's this, like, you know, from the other school, Granite City High, there are just these ugly, sexist gargoyle teenagers with voices of middle-aged men.
Y'all are gross. Claude literally acts like he owns Dracula in this movie. First of all, he doesn't want the girls to create the team for reasons that are sexist, but men don't realize are sexist. Like, be like, you'll get hurt because we're so delicate. Oh my gosh, shut up. Literally says, as your boyfriend, I, like, forbid you from joining the team. And she's obviously like, I'm my own person and I'm going to do what I want.
Go Draculaura. F your boyfriend. F it all. You deserve better. But seriously, like, why are men like that? Like, so freaking annoying sometimes. Not all men, the fact that I even have to specify that, just so, like, people don't get pissed off.
No, but they're literally always like, oh, you're gonna get hurt. Or, like, you wouldn't say that to another guy. Please shut up. You're, like, really annoying. Like, and the fact that they act like they're protecting us or something, stopping us from doing whatever, it's like, you're just being sexist by doing that, by thinking that we don't have the capability to handle it. So, you're not protecting anybody. If anything, you are being an ass.
Also, I have 2 questions about this movie that maybe someone can answer. How did the gargoyles not know that Rochelle is on their team and is a woman?
It doesn't make sense. The long hair. Literally, Rochelle, for a majority of the movie, is just literally in a night costume. It's like, have you never questioned
Yeah,
that?
and the night costume is slightly more feminine shaped.
Were they never questioning, like, oh, why do they wear that all the time?
Yeah.
Also, is the way Rebecca skates technically cheating?
because she literally like skates on the air and it makes her go faster than everyone else.
Like she glides.
This movie is a 9 out of 10. This was our favorite Monster High movie growing up, besides Why Do Ghouls Fall in Love and Ghouls Rule. We are literally so passionate about this movie. We love it.
It has so much rewatchability. Like, immediately when I was done watching the movie, I was like, I could rewatch this again, like, literally right after. Like, 2 watches in the same night. This movie's message is so timeless. Like, I'm so passionate about this movie. The message will always stand, which makes this movie so powerful and just, like, entertaining. And that's what gives it its rewatchability factor. Like, although this movie isn't the most, like, Monster High out of the Monster High movies, like, you know, it's not totally just, like, you know, about their universe and, you know, that kind of stuff. We enjoy it, and it's in our top favorites. Obviously, it made into the top 5, so. The movie taking 4th place. This was honestly surprising to me, because I didn't remember this movie being this good, but, like, it is. And that movie would be Monster High 13 Wishes. In this movie, Halloween doesn't want to be an outcast anymore, and doesn't like who she is. She isn't popular, she doesn't have any friends. Well, many friends, of course, her friend is Twyla. And she feels like she is in Claudine's shadow by being her younger sister. Halloween finds a genie lantern and accidentally releases the genie inside, whose name is Gigi Grant. Gigi can grant Halloween 13 wishes, but she has to be careful as the wishes have a dark side that comes along with them, with that dark side being Gigi's shadow sister named Wisp. Halloween wishes many things throughout this movie, such as being popular, and sometimes makes wishes to help other people. So good on her. But when Wisp uses Halloween's insecurities, because, you know, she's been, you know, insecure since the beginning of the movie, because she's not popular, Wisp uses Halloween's insecurities to make her wish selfish wishes, and things take a turn for the worse.
As Halloween makes more wishes, she loses more of herself and the life she had before she started making all these wishes, while Wisp continues to tempt her to reach her main goal of eventually making Halloween wish Wisp into being all-powerful and not a shadow anymore. The main ghouls have to try to save Howleen and make her remember who she is so she can fix the mess she created while only having her last 2 wishes to use.
This movie has an epic introduction with, you know, Gigi and her shadow sister. Like, it's drama right off the bat. And it's kind of refreshing because not only is this movie just not about one of the main goals, it's about Halloween, it's also incorporating, like, a main storyline and plot of characters that just were never introduced before. So, like, it's drama-filled. And it has some Aladdin vibes.
I like that this movie is very plot-based and it doesn't really veer off track at all. And obviously, the 2D animated credit scene was amazing. I love 2D animation. Love to see it. The fashion is absolutely on point in this movie. Literally from the very beginning, I love the dolls from this as well. I have Gigi, but I don't think I have any of the other dolls from this movie, which makes me kind of sad because they're so beautiful. Literally, Gil and Laguna, again, like, they always have freaking drama, but it is really funny in the movie because of how over the top it is.
And also, like, Laguna just goes nuts. Like, she loses her personality. Not in a bad way. Not like Great Scarrier Reef disaster. It's because of one of the wishes.
Yeah, she gets turned freshwater. The Die Trying show that,
No.
I believe it's Heath, Claude, and is Deuce on it?
I thought it was Manitor.
I don't think Deuce would go on that show.
No, he's not dumb.
Yeah. Yeah, but that show that they went on where they literally, it's like, you know, either you do the stunt or you die trying. Like
you have to
so
keep
funny.
going. Like, and it's so funny because, like, every time they had to do it, like, after they did a few stunts, they were like, we do not want to be on the show anymore. This is actually terrifying. They're like, hey, can we, like, stop? Like, we don't want to be on the show. And the host is like, you know what this is. It's either you do the stunt or you die trying. And it was, like, so funny. And it was, like, it was hilarious.
The Madison Beer intro, we finally have a movie with the Madison Beer Monster High theme song. That song is so freaking good. Claude literally flies into a fountain.
Wet dog. in the fountain. Politics are in this movie. Abby campaigns for student disembodied president. It's just kind of funny because they tried to have some sort of like message about how politics can be corrupt. I don't know. It was just like so weird to see in the Monster High universe, but nonetheless, like I enjoyed it.
Halloween basically is a cult in the movie because of the wishes, and everyone forgets who Cleo is, and then she tries to become popular again. And then it's also hilarious, like everyone loves the different versions of all the characters, like the dark side or the shadow versions. I mean, they're funny, they do horrible things.
It's so funny to see them like that because it's just the total opposite. This movie also gets a 9 out of 10. I believe the last movie, it was a 9 out of 10. This movie has a lot of fun elements going on in it, and a very solid plot. Like, I think that the plot is really what makes this movie good, because it's so plot-based, it just, it flows.
Mm-hmm.
The movie flowed so well, and it didn't feel like it was dragging on at any point. With some Monster High movies, although I like them, I'm just like, shouldn't the movie be over at like a certain point?
And they're
like,
not even that long, but it's just like it's dragging on, cause even though it's like a short story and it's not that long, but it still feels like it's dragging on sometimes.
I also really love the message and concept of the movie, like be careful what you wish for, or like, you know, the type of thing where it's like, you know, you might think you want certain things, but you should actually just be content with the life that you have.
Yeah, I mean, this is the best be careful what you wish for movie that I think I've ever seen. Way better than whatever status update was.
No, stop. But this was definitely like a cautionary tale, kind of.
So, we're in the top 3 now. This is crazy. At number 3, we have Why Do Ghouls Fall in Love?
How may I romance you?
We don't even need to explain why it is where it is. This is a very beloved Monster High movie.
And remember, like, I have so much nostalgia from this because the dolls, like, they came with the keys and you had to unlock it on your phone. Like, I spent all day doing that.
As Draculaura's 1600th birthday is coming closer, she reminisces about her first love, Valentine, who made Valentine's Day just for her. Her birthday is on Valentine's Day, just for clarification. Draculaura's boyfriend Claude is trying to get her the perfect birthday gift, but he doesn't know what to get her since she's lived for so long. He's like, what do I get the girl who has everything? His failed attempts with his gifts leaves him feeling defeated. Toralei calls Valentine with her voice disguised as Draculaura to cause drama and to get Draculaura and Claude to break up as payback for not being invited to Draculaura's sweet 1600 party. This is a reoccurring issue.
Valentine comes to Monster High, hypnotizes Draculaura, and tries to get her to fall in love with him to add another broken heart to his collection. He wants Draculaura's heart specifically because she has the biggest heart out of all the monsters, but if he doesn't get her to fall in love with him by her birthday, her heart will disappear forever. The ghouls have to help get Draculaura to break free from Valentine's control before her birthday and help Claude get Draculaura back.
If that didn't seem dramatic enough for you, I don't know what is. The opening has a Halloween vibe. That's what it says in our notes. I don't really remember what the opening was.
Yeah, I can't remember at this point, but just take our old words for it from our notes.
I love Cupid in this movie. Like, it's so iconic. And if you watch Drake and Josh, you would know that Cupid is the Miss Nancy we all needed. I don't know, like, why are we making so many Nickelodeon and Disney Channel connections?
Valentine is just Valentine. Like, he's amazing. Like, the headcanon of him being gay is so funny to me because he's just, like, breaking all these girls' hearts.
He's doing it to prove his straightness.
Quote unquote. Also, like, there's a plotline where Ghoulia is trying to do math to, like, figure out, like, who her boyfriend should be. It's like, she's literally doing freaking rocket science to figure out who her boyfriend should be. It's like, choose slow-mo already.
I know, it's so funny because, like, after she does the math, she literally is just like, you know what, I'm gonna come up with a computer program that will choose it for me, and there was a bug in the software, so she gets the wrong BF anyway, so...
There's so much drama in this movie. Draculaura emotionally cheats on Claude. It's just depressing, but also hilarious.
This is
Such a good movie to watch on Valentine's Day. I try to watch it on Valentine's Day if I can. Toralei made Slow-Mo and Manny gay for a few moments in the film.
That's interesting.
We literally saw them slow dancing together or something. And this is the best effing rom-com I've ever seen in my life, if you count it as one. Also, I have a question, like, why does Valentine have a southern accent? I really don't understand that.
I never got that. If he's from Transylvania,
Why does he have that accent? I don't know.
I don't know. Who are the group of singing clouds that follow Valentine around? I don't know enough. Maybe there's like something that explains it
I
from like
don't
maybe
know.
like a diary, because he does have a doll, or I don't know, some type of Monster High lore that I'm just missing.
There's like literal mind control and hypnosis in this movie. And I'm sure you want to talk about the body odor pool.
Yes, like, isn't that iconic? Like, the body odor pool? Like, who has an infinite body odor pool? Monster High.
In the
Like,
catacombs.
like, let's knock our enemies into the body odor pool where they'll forever smell. No one will ever want to be around them.
So this movie got a 9 out of 10. Obviously, this movie is just so nostalgic. It literally just solidifies Draculaura's and Claude's relationship and makes you want to root for them. Valentine and Draculaura's backstory is honestly just extremely interesting to me as a Monster High fan.
You know, it just really shows how long Draculaura has lived. This movie is full of ship content coming left and right. Charlie Puth and Jungkook. This is the best movie centering around Draculaura, and I'm a Draculaura girl ever since I was a child.
Okay, so at number 2, we're getting close to the end here. We have Haunted.
This is your movie.
Yeah, isn't it? She doesn't want to speak to us today. But anyway, I'm gonna put her down. So, in this movie, Draculaura finds out she's being haunted by a ghost, so she decides to tell Spectra about it. Spectra was worried about this, so she went to the ghost world to investigate who was haunting Draculaura. The other ghouls see Spectra go to the ghost world, but they never knew that the ghost world existed, so they just followed her not knowing what to expect. While in the ghost world, they grow more concerned as they find out that the hauntings don't happen anymore, ever since what happened to the Red Lady. As the ghouls investigate the ghost world, they learn about the mistreatment of the students of Haunted High and how they are being given chains as a form of detention. The ghouls, along with Porter Geist, my fave, learn the secrets behind Haunted High, discover the Red Lady's true identity, and find a way to free the students that attend Haunted High, as well as the students from Monster High that were being trapped there from their chains before the principal of the school finds the boogeyman's ghost sand and turns all the Monster High students into ghosts.
Also, they obviously find out who is haunting Draculaura.
Which is Kiyomi. Like, I really like her doll. I think
It's very creative, because she technically doesn't have a face,
Yeah.
and so she's, like, kind of translucent.
I mean, the whole doll line is really translucent.
Right. Even just the We Are Monster High Madison Beer song opening scene is just so hype. I'm not exactly sure what it was, because I said in the notes I put opening scene, so I don't know if it was playing over something. I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't just like a thing where they play the thing and then have the girls, like, intro.
Yeah.
I don't think that happened.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Rochelle can't swim in this movie because she's literally made of stone. She's a rock.
She will sink.
This movie is visually stunning. It just looks so well made. So it was like a couple years after they had been making Monster High movies, so the animation quality was a lot better. And also there's just a lot of beautiful scenes, you know, like very vibrant. I love the coloring. Vandala doubloons.
She's a seasick pirate. Come on, that is amazing. Like, Stan. Imagine being a seasick pirate. Like, it's just kind of iconic, you know? I also really love the part of the movie where Rochelle gets turned into a blob. I literally love that. Like, she is literally so cute.
Honestly, we love the ghost looks. They are amazing. They are great. Super interesting for some of them. I was really surprised by Twyla's design. And I just love how Monster Monster High incorporated, like how the designers incorporated the chains into the outfits. I mean, right here, just on the normal Spectra doll, look at how many chains are on her outfit. There's like a ball and chain on her shoes. It's just really cool. And then they did a very good job with doing it again for this set of dolls to go along with this movie. I'm glad that Spectra got her own movie. She really does deserve it since she is a fan favorite character. And honestly, she's just not talked about enough, I feel like, you know? Spectra and Porter are kind of an enemies to lovers story. Kind of love it.
It's also cool to see a Monster High movie take place in a different school rather than Monster High. Literally every movie other than this takes place in Monster High. And like, no, because even like School Shores, like
Yeah.
the thing is they always visit a place, but they always start at Monster High. If they don't.
I'm so curious about the other schools that are like in the monster world.
Also, the Red Lady is such a cool antagonist. She also looks really good in this movie. It is so easy to laugh at Draculaura in this movie. Like when she's being haunted, being a little whiny baby, her running in the hallway. Because one thing I love about Monster High movies is the way that they act like a camera is following them around.
Yeah.
So like it's just following behind her as she's running away. They act like it's being filmed.
Yeah.
Like a single camera sitcom.
Yeah, I kind of love that. It's like Modern Family. Like
Yes.
that kind of thing. Again, so many effing kidnappings in Monster High. You know, like these students are being turned into ghosts and trapped into the freaking school. You can't force kids to literally attend your school and do work. Like, it's ridiculous.
Also, for some reason, Porter reminds me of Jack Griffo. Like, I couldn't help but get flashbacks of the Thundermans while watching it. I don't even know why. He just gives a Jack Griffo vibe. A Max Thunderman vibe.
This movie, we rated a 10 out of 10. It's just great. We love the concept of it, especially because they explore the ghost world, which is something they, like, never talk about, ever. It was first introduced, really, in this movie. And ghosts just aren't talked about that much in the Monster High universe. Spectra is just an amazing character to make a movie about. I love how they incorporated her blog and her journalism into the storyline very well.
Also, I love her ghost look, and I mean, like, in the ghost world.
The movie has great pacing. It doesn't drag on at all. The ghost characters that were added in, like Vandala Doubloons, River Styx, and obviously Porter, just wonderful, purposeful addition to the main cast of the movie.
Now taking the #1 spot as the best Monster High movie.
Freaky Fusion.
I mean, probably if you know what all the Monster High movies are, you probably already knew, just by process of elimination, but Freaky Fusion is so good.
I did not expect this movie to be #1. I really didn't.
It was so much better than I thought it was going to be. Like, I guess we didn't really watch this movie that much when we were younger.
Yeah.
So I didn't really know what I was getting into. So I was just like, you know, it's probably gonna be an okay movie. It's gonna be fun, but I didn't know that it was gonna be this good.
Yeah,
Like,
it was amazing.
it honestly blew me away. I cried during it.
Yeah, I think we all cried. Even our mom, who wasn't even there for most of the movie. She came in, like, in the room when we were watching it on our TV, and just from seeing a couple minutes of it, she started to cry. And she was like, no, Frankie! Like, because our mom and our other family members have been very invested in our Monster High doll collecting over the years, so our mom is informed on all the Monster High tea.
In this movie, the ghouls have a school project to present about their family heritage in the Monster High universe. But when it comes time to present, Frankie realizes she doesn't know much about her family at all. Rebecca agrees to take the ghouls into the catacombs to look through her father's workshop since she believes there might be information about Frankie's grandfather, Victor. When they get there, Toralei pulls a lever that activates one of Rebecca's father's machines, and it transports the ghouls into the past, where Frankie learns about and meets her grandfather, not knowing it's him. When the ghouls travel back to the current time period, the time machine teleporter changes the ghouls, other than Frankie and Ghoulia, into fusions, so they fuse together and have different combinations. Literally love that. The designs were so interesting. interesting. Frankie's grandfather also comes through the time machine because he wants to learn how to create life because he didn't know how to in the past, and he believes he can learn how to in the current time period because of Frankie. As Frankie's grandfather attempts to create a family for himself, the new student hybrids teach the ghouls how to control their fusion bodies. There's so much to like about this movie. It's perfect. It really is.
Yeah, it's a perfect film. The idea of the fusions are extremely cool. I mean, like, I do have some of the dolls from this line, but I don't have any of the main ghouls. I just have the side character hybrids, not the fusions, but I still love those dolls a lot. I have Nathan and some of the other ones.
The idea of the fusions, like, some of them are really interesting. Like, especially, like, Torla and Cleo. And also, especially, I think the most interesting one is Draculaura and Rebecca, a vampire and a robot. Like...
Well, I actually quite like Claudine and Venus.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one. Literally at the beginning of the movie, Frankie breaks the fourth wall, which is just awesome. Like, she literally talks to us at the beginning of the movie. Love that.
Again, we love Rebecca's team. I love any movie she's in. Rebecca's father is like machines and everything with the cogs and the gears. Oh, so satisfying. A highlight of the movie. And the sounds, the ASMR.
Like, someone please, like, cut it all together. Like, put only stuff of, like, his machines in it and make a video for me, please. So I can watch it over and over again. It's cool to find out Frankie's heritage because just like in the movie, like, you know, we don't know as an audience that much because she doesn't know that much about her family beyond just her mom and dad.
This really is Frankie's movie and it's just amazing. She was crazy in this movie. She really was, because Frankie was literally being such a badass and like showing a side of her character that we don't normally see. And it was just so great at the end. She literally would do like anything for her friends, and I just love that about Frankie's character. This movie was also pretty spooky. I think it's also a really cool one to watch around Halloween because it reminds me of, like, you know, Frankenstein, obviously, because a lot of the movie is about Frankie and her family.
Such a cute message, this movie. The message is so wholesome.
Also, why is the school, like, why are her teachers so mad at her for not knowing about her heritage? Like, it's not her fault that she doesn't know her family history.
Like, I know that is the whole project. That's what you're supposed to talk about, but if you don't know much and you can't get access to that information, it's like, it's not on them. Like,
yeah.
I don't know how to feel about Nathan and Frankie. Like, it's not like I'm against it, but I'm also not fully for it.
Yeah, I don't know how to feel.
I kind of like them, though. I feel like they're better than Andy and Frankie. That's my opinion, though.
Yeah, Frankie is an absolute savage. And she disses the Franken robot that her grandfather Sparky makes when trying to create life. And then again, Frankie freaking dies in the movie, and we cried. Our mom started to tear up. It was just a lot, and it's like, Frankie freaking died.
I know, and it wasn't a thing where, like, other kids' movies would make you think that the character died, but they're not actually dead. No. She actually died, and the school had to try to bring her back to life with, you know, her grandfather's help, and that's how he figures out how to create life. Obviously, 10 out of 10. Like we said, we were not expecting it to be so good. We haven't seen this movie in so long that we weren't sure how much we were going to like it this time around, especially because not only did we not watch it in such a long time, but we didn't watch it a lot when we were kids. But it was amazing, and it stays true to Monster High's overall message. Like, everyone has their spark as an individual.
And just family, and it's just beautiful. Beautiful story. I'm starting to tear up just thinking about it right now. Yeah, it's such a freaking good movie. It really pulls at my heartstrings, you know?
So that's it, guys.
That's the ranking. Do you want to say anything?
I'm leaving the pod.
Okay, bye. So Spectre just left.
She really thought this was a podcast.
Oh.
So embarrassing. Go write your gossip. No, she's okay.
Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe and become an honest pal today. You will get freaking honest powers, and everyone will love you for it. We do have a gaming channel. There will be a link to that in the description.
Comment down below or respond to the pinned comment. We want to know what your guys' opinions are, especially because this is a ranking. Like, let us know what your opinions are on the movies and what you would rank and rate them.
God bless you, Jesus loves you, have an amazing day, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye!